All right, so we have, I'm just sort of picking up where we left off on the last video. I've made a rectangular marquee selection around the motel sign. It isn't horribly accurate, but it's sort of good enough. I have also gone to select and done save selection and saved that marquee. Okay, this is what I'm going to be looking for when I look to grade your motel.tif files. What we sort of ended there with that last little tutorial or in the last video was sort of toggling, and here I am back in the quick mask mode, toggling back and forth between the actual selection and that red kind of area. Again, this just sort of a visual indication of what we have selected. Now what's great about these about the quick mask mode, or what's called editing in quick mask mode, is that we can sort of change via this coloring what we are doing to it. Similar to what we did with a mask in Lightroom, and it works simply with paintbrushes and erasers. So what I'm going to do while I have the toggle on, meaning the sort of quick mask on, I'm going to go over to my eraser tool, okay, which is about halfway down, and I'm going to use an eraser to erase portions of this selection. Okay, you'll see that, and this is just the size of the paintbrush that I used last time. I can use the brackets on my keyboard to make those things smaller. Okay, and I can also sort of go up to this brush picker, which is right up here, and change the size of this brush. Okay, so I can go up here and change the size of that brush. Again, a brush is indicated whether it's a paintbrush or in this case an eraser. Now what I'm going to do, and you can sort of see me come over to this red area, is simply erase. Okay, you'll notice that as I erase, and you can probably hopefully see it on the video, I'm not erasing the red part totally, and I want to erase that red part totally. Up here at the top, whenever you have a tool in Photoshop, you should have what's called options. So here I have the paint or the eraser, here I have the size of the brush, and here I have what's called opacity. I want to make sure that opacity is at 100% and the flow is at 100%. Now when I erase this thing totally. Okay, so I'm going to do a little section here. Okay, and you'll notice that when I toggle back, my selection is sort of adjusted appropriately. Okay, so I can then toggle back. A little trick, and everyone should learn this, is to hold down the spacebar on your keyboard. When you hold down the spacebar on your keyboard, you can move around the image. Okay, so you want to go around the entire image, and you can see obviously that we can get much more accurate in terms of a selection. Okay. So what I want you guys to do, and I'm not going to sort of bore you with 10 minutes of video of me doing this, but to go around this image and get the motel sign selected very, very accurately. Okay. What this is going to do is going to sort of set up the possibility of us making, first of all, a good selection, and second of all, sort of headed towards potentially good collage and good what's called compositing. Okay, there are many different ways to select. This is, you know, sort of in the time we have. This is sort of a good place to start in terms of creating collage and creating composite. Okay. Once I'm going to sort of act like, and I'll just do a little bit here. Act like we have a very good selection. Okay, we want to also save this selection. Remember, we saved the selection that was sort of the marquee tool. What I want you guys to do is to save also this selection, and the reason being is that we're going to sort of take a look at, or I'm going to take a look at the fact that you hopefully did 2 selections and saved those selections. That's what you're sort of being graded on in this exercise. One last thing I'm going to note before I actually save this selection is that if you need to sort of zoom in on something, down here at the bottom of your toolbox is the zoom tool. You can click on an image, and mine went a little crazy there, so I'm going to rein it in. You can click on an image with the zoom tool down here, or you can click, hold, and sort of zoom in really far. Okay, this is going to allow you via those same tools. Here I am with the eraser, and I'm going to make mine much smaller, to really accurately make a good mask of this thing. I actually think I'm too zoomed in, meaning that it's a little much in terms of how far in I need to be. Here I am at about 700%, and I can sort of very accurately paint out that area. Okay, so let's say, for argument's sake, I'm going to zoom out here, and there we go. Let's say, for argument's sake, that I've done a pretty good job of painting out, and I've actually in a few minutes there gotten most of that out, but again, don't want to bore you with tons of selecting. I'm going to toggle back out, okay, and I want to go to select, save selection again, and this time I want to call it Quick Mask, okay. We should be saving into the document motel.tiff. It should be a new channel, and it should be called Quick Mask. I'm going to hit OK. Okay. Now, this is the file that you're going to hand in. On D2L, I'm going to specify the name of this file. It's going to be something like your first name, last name, motel.tiff. I'm going to be looking for those two selections. I'm going to find them in two places. If you want to check to see where, to see if you've done them, you can do two things. One, you can go to select, load selection, and you can look here for under what's called the channel for a marquee and quick mask channel. Okay, those are going to sort of show you that you did those two selections. If you want to, and I'll close this out to sort of show you, you can also go to Window, Channels. This is going to open up this dialog box, which is going to show you what's called the RGB channels. Those are your color channels that make up your file. And it's also going to show you these black and white masks. One's going to be called Marquee and one's going to be called Quick Mask. Okay, make sure those are there for you. Okay, those are the two things I'm looking for. So I'm looking for two of those selections. The Marquee one, not horribly accurate. And the Quick Mask one, very accurate. So spend some time painting around that, or sorry, erasing around that. Now, once you've sort of saved those selections, once you've sort of double checked that they're there, next thing we need to do is save. So I'm going to do a very simple save. I'm going to go File, Save As, and we're going to wait. And when I go to Save As, I get a dialog box. If you're on a PC, yours is going to look slightly different. I have a teaching folder. I'm going to go to my teaching folder. You guys should be going to whatever folders you have for this class. I have my online photography class, and I'm going to call this, and this is what I want you to call it. I'm going to call it David Luke _ motel .tiff. Okay. Now, a word about this .tiff. TIFF is a file format. You should not type in .tiff. Simply go down to the format here, and here we have all these different formats. You see, if I change it to Photoshop, it changes to PSD up here. If I change it to TIFF, it changes to TIFF up there. Okay. So you're going to save this as David Luke _ motel.tiff. Okay. So I'm going to hit save. You might get this TIFF options. The defaults are fine, none, and then just leave these as they are. Yours might say PC if you're on a PC, and I'm going to click OK. Okay. Once you have saved your file, this should be the file that you're going to hand in. Okay. So mine says David Luke _ motel.tiff. I know that I've done it correctly because I'm going to go up and go to Load Selection. And I should see in this channel Marquee and Quick Mask. Okay. As I said, next week we're going to work with that selection, and we're going to actually work with another image to start introducing a few different ways of collaging. Also next week I will give you your Project 5 assignment, which is going to be sort of culling from images that you have so far. You're likely not going to be taking new images, but sort of going through old images and deciding, hey, I want to bring these couple into Photoshop and create some interesting collage. Okay, so that's it for this. Please note and I'm just looking at my notes here. You're gonna have your Project 4 discussion up on Tuesday. It's Monday afternoon right now. It'll be up by Tuesday. You're gonna be doing that. You're also going to be doing this little exercise, which is part of Project 5. So you're going to be getting a grade for this, and you're going to be getting a grade for the exercise, what I call kind of the exercise in relation to this file again next week. We're going to do more. Okay. Email me with any questions, and hopefully this should be a fun part of heading into collage and heading into Photoshop, which is a whole different ballgame. Okay.